just slipped back the lovely moth fish. Just got another one ready for pictures, and the old left hand rod down that margin has once again absolutely motored off. Single solid bags, they just catch them. And at this time of the year when, you know, bait is not always needed, they are extremely lethal. The conditions today are really, really good for it. We've got a nice bit of wind pumping onto that no fishing bank. Getting them in the right areas is all we need to do at this time of the year. And at the minute, it's working. Looks like another absolute cracker. To be fair, every single fish that swims in this lake is incredible. And there's so many big ones in here now, over 130s. You never know what is going to jump on the end. Fish number 5. I love this lake. I absolutely love it. Check out the shoulders on this one. He is set to do big things without a doubt. 26 pounds and 2 ounces. Now obviously I've been here at Norton Disney from the very start, and I've watched these fish grow over the years, and the average in Pettit's now is just getting silly. 26 pound is almost below average. You know, you could easily catch 5 fish and they all be 30 pounders now. But look at that one there, absolute cracker. And I'm sure it won't be long for this one to meet his mates and be another 30 pounder also. Well, I've been a bit of a naughty boy. So me and Ash have arranged to come to fish Norton Disney on Pettit's Lake. And we arranged to start filming on the Tuesday. Now, my missus and my little kids went away on holiday Monday morning. I texted Ash and said, look, I'm gonna get down to Norton a little bit earlier because I've not been down there for a couple of weeks, and it'd be nice to get back down there, get in tune with where the fish are holding up, potentially get into a swim. Promise I won't put any rods out. I'll sit there, tie some rigs, and wait patiently for you to arrive on Tuesday. Now, that didn't exactly happen. I did tie some rigs. Them rigs soon turned into solid bags, and them solid bags soon turned into 3 rods out in the pond. The amount of fish in this swim yesterday evening was a joke, and I just couldn't resist having a little couple of casts. Did say to Ash, if I catch any, I will make sure I get some video. As you can tell, it has been non-stop. The fish really are here. And we've had 4 fish now, including some real nice ones. My first one was a lovely 26 pound linear, which came to my right hand rod in very shallow water. That rod there is probably in, I reckon, 4 foot max. You can actually see the bar glowing from the top of the bank. Next rod was out, was the left hand rod. Now this left hand rod, fishing this area before, is very reliable, especially in the daytime. The fish love to congregate along this no fishing bank. And yeah, I've had a couple of nice ones off that one there. But the next fish I had was a fish that I've never caught from Norton Disney. A fish that I've seen, I must say 3 times on the bank now. It's a fish called Marley. It's a real nice old character one. And it went 33 pounds and 11 ounces. So I was absolutely buzzing to see that one in the net. Got the rods back out yesterday evening, nothing through the night, but that's sort of half expected on Pettit's Lake. You don't get that many night bites. But at 6:30 this morning, again, the shallow rod and that 3 foot bar went off, and I've got another one. I think it's a fish called the Moth. I'll tell you the backstory behind that name in a little while. Got the rod back out there, and the left hand rod's gone once again, and that one there looks about 28, 29. So fantastic start. I'll get the rods all ready to rock again. I've got one more to put back out, and I'll tell you how exactly I've been catching them and give you a little brief preview of the ones we've got in the net. Now, usually this end of the lake is the weedier end of the lake. It's definitely the shallowest, and by now there's a fair bit of Canadian pondweed and quite a bit of silkweed around, but because the water levels have been astronomically high this year, the water levels were back up to the wicker screen there, the weed growth hasn't happened yet. It's starting to happen in the margins now as we've managed to drop the water level with the pump, but the point I'm getting at, because there's not a lot of weed, I can fish fairly slack lines, and again, because there's not a lot of weed, I'm sort of fishing an area rather than a spot. Normally there's a really good area out here at just under 21 wraps, and if you're not on that gravelly area, you know, you're recasting until you get the perfect drop. So at the minute, I could go left and right, you know, 15, 20 foot and still be presented, especially with a solid bag. So I'm on a bit of a winner-winner here. I can have a lovely line lay with my fluorocarbon, and I've got a little bit of a play where my solid bag lands because I know I'm always presented. But that one there really couldn't be any better. This one here is a real cracker. He's named the Moth, and he is absolutely beautiful. Just over 22 pounds. The left hand rod, single solid bag. That's all you need in spring sometimes. And it's definitely doing the do at the minute. What a lovely carp. There we go. This one is a mega one. He's got lovely rounded fins and just over 27 pounds. What an absolute cracker. They really do come in all shapes and sizes here at Pettit's. We're on the males at the minute. Trust me, there's some big old females in there, well over 40 pounds. We're on the carp. There's a very good chance we will get acquainted by one very soon. Well, I've just repositioned this rod here in much shallower water, probably 10 minutes ago. This morning it's been really cold, this northerly wind. I've been sitting in the bivvy saying to Ash, like, God mate, it's not warm. And about half hour ago the sun came out, and I reckon we'll be in shorts in a little while. Typical spring. So I moved this rod slightly left, which puts me probably out of 7 foot of water and more into sort of 3s and 4s. You can actually see the bar glowing from the top of the bank there. It hasn't been out there long. Single bag, same hook bait combination, and we've got a result. So paying attention to what the weather's doing, repositioning rods into shallower or deeper water can often get you a bite this time of the year, and yeah, that's nice. All the way to the net. Thank you very much. It's just GPS. Well, paying attention to the mid-afternoon sun and repositioning that rod into much shallower water has definitely paid off. A cracking little one of 23 pounds. And hopefully that is going to set us up for a few more, because this area that I'm fishing is really, really good in the late afternoon. So we've got everything in our favour. The wind's pushing down in nicely. The sun is now out. Rods are repositioned. Let's hope for a few more. Right, the business end of things, the solid bag rig, and not much has changed here since I first started using this rig over 20 years ago, showing my age here, over at Horseshoe Lake in Oxfordshire. And but I thought I'd run you through the components, the length of things that I'm using, and the whys. So we'll first start off with the leader here. Now I'm using, it looks like a lead core leader, but in fact it's a leadless leader. It's a product called Duracord. It is very limp, very supple, and sits over the bottom, whatever the bottom may be, very, very nicely. Now this bit here is extremely important, the lead itself. Now in recent years I'd say I've lent more towards a 3 ounce lead, but in recent years I'd say a 3.5 has been my go-to. And the reason behind that is I'm so conscious about moving that lead across the bottom once that bag is on the spot, and it is so easy to move a lead across the bottom if you've got a light lead on. Say a 2.5 or a 2 I would never use. It'd be a 3 ounce minimum, and like I say, as long as you've got the kit for it, strong line and strong rods, I'd definitely recommend a 3. Now when you get these leads, they come with a plastic insert which you're supposed to use a tar rubber to pop over the top and make things nice and neat. But when I'm constructing my bags, if I was to put a tar rubber over that plastic insert, it's so easy to pop off when I'm doing my bags that I've actually replaced this now with what's called a shock leader sleeve. Now I pop the plastic insert out, replaced it with a shock leader sleeve again, which is rubberized, very flexible, and sits on the bottom very nicely. but when you do put it on, it will probably stick out as far as that swivel goes. So what I do, get a pair of scissors and cut it flush with the bottom of that lead there, so everything's nice and flush. Now, that moves us on to this bit. Size 8 swivel, fits in that shock leader sleeve, lovely. Now, the materials here, 18 pounds Supernatural, and I use this when I'm not snag fishing. If it was really weedy out there, or it was really snaggy, I'd up it to 25, but in this situation, I'm pretty much hooking them and landing them, no snags, no weed, 18 pounds is perfect. Now, hook, really important, the size 8 long shank. This hook has featured in my solid bag fishing for years and years. I absolutely love the pattern of hook. It flips and turns so efficiently. I rarely get any hook pop hauls with it, and the hook holds are exceptional. So a size 8 long shank has been finished off with about, I'm gonna say 12 mil of small shrink tubing, sort of 25% on the hook, the rest coming off the hook to really open up that gape of the hook and make it flip and turn super quickly every time that I go across my palm and nail me. So that's the material and the hook. I've then done a 2-turn whipping knot. Now this little whipping knot, it's tight-ish to the shank of the hook, but it still moves. Okay, it's not like a O-ring where you've got a blowback style, but it still moves up and down the shank. And then I've got quite a big gap between my hook and my hook bait, which I will touch on later on. And having that separation is really important because that gives the hook, as I mentioned, time and space to flip and turn and set that hook lovely. So that's the rig. We will touch on the hook bait and the solid bag contents a little bit later on. Once again, the shallow bar rod is doing the bites. It's amazing how a little bit of instinctive fishing this afternoon, moving that rod onto that bar, has now become regular bites, and that's all you need in spring is just a little bit of shallow water, a solid bag, plenty of fish swimming around, and results will come.